Right, Titans fan, Sam Phelan here with you for Titans at 2 here on A to Z Sports. We're about to break down everything that Brian Callahan said in his Monday press conference. Going to go back to Sunday afternoon media availability as well for Brian Callahan and the Titans players that I spoke to in the locker room. We got to get some answers here. We have to figure out what is going so wrong for the Titans. Brian Callahan tried to put his finger on it and pinpoint exactly what it is the Titans need to do. And I have some theories of my own for what the Titans need to do. So I'll lay that out for you guys. And then we're going to address some changes to the Titans starting lineup that they are going to have to make despite, or not despite, maybe because of the 0-3 start and the situation that they're in. So who are the new starters for the Titans moving forward? I'll tell you guys about that. But let's start by going back to, the post-game press conference after an embarrassing loss to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday afternoon. Brian Callahan said straight up, it is embarrassing, and straight up, everything pretty much is going wrong. The Titans not doing much well to start off the 2024 season.
At the end of the day, I've not done a good enough job. We're an 0-3 football team. I'm an 0-3 head coach. It's embarrassing and disappointing. I've got to be a lot better than I've been, and this is frustrating and unfortunate and not what I thought we were capable of to start the season. And at the end of the day, can't continue to have turnovers like that on offense, even though, we had 7 more points to another team, and they did a great job possessing the football. We only got 3 possessions in the first half, and we scored on one of them. We threw an interception for pick 6 on the other, and the other 2 we went 3 and out. And we're not consistent enough anywhere offensively. We allowed too many explosives on defense. We still haven't got a turnover. I think we're probably going to be dead last in the turnover margin by a long shot at this point, and that's going to lose you a lot of football games in the NFL. We're not good enough on either side there. We don't protect it well. We don't take it away. We had too many yards rushing. We had some tackling issues early. We settled down and then had to get in a drop-back situation at the end of the game in the second half as we didn't find much success on the ground versus a good front, and the 8 sacks was a result. So ultimately not good enough anywhere.
Not exactly the most encouraging update from the Titans head coach. I mean, just listen to the laundry list of things he went down when describing why his team is 0-3. They don't protect the ball well enough. They don't take it away. They don't protect the quarterback. They don't run the ball well. They had trouble tackling. Obviously, we know about the special teams errors and the blocked punts. So what exactly do the Titans do well? The answer is really nothing. They have not excelled in really any area to start the season, which is why this team is sitting at 0-3. It's why they got embarrassed by the Packers, who are a better coached, more well-rounded football team. But it does beg the question, where do you go from here? Like, what do you do? Because there's no doubt, like, this Titans team is a talented team relatively, right? There is talent on this team. They signed a lot of talent. They acquired proven veteran free agent players. Tyler Boyd said in Monday's press conference, which I could do a whole show on if I really wanted to, that the Titans are a Super Bowl contender on paper. Still a Super Bowl caliber team and a very good team. I don't know where that has shown up for the Titans through 3 games, but there is still some belief within the building that there is a good enough team here to win. So where do you go? Where does it start? Brian Callahan said on Monday that if there's one thing he can point to for why the Titans have not had success, it's turning the ball over. It comes down to the turnover margin, the fact that the Titans have no takeaways, and Will Levis has turned the ball over a good, fair number of times, as we've discussed sort of at length here to begin the season. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that because I believe turnovers are an excuse, right? Turnovers are something we point to for an explanation. Why is this team not good? Oh, we'll just look at the turnover margin. But if it was as easy as saying, hey, we need to get more turnovers, snap our fingers, we'll get more turnovers, the Titans would get more turnovers. It's not, it's so much easier said than done. It is not a simple fix in many ways. A lot of these Titans defenders have said, well, we just need to force more turnovers. Right. But what are you doing to generate those? And inversely, what are you doing on offense to allow those and surrender those? And that is the question that Brian Callahan and the Titans staff need to be asking. Turnovers are the blanket that we can put on all of the problems. But do you know why Will Levis is turning the ball over? Yes, he's made some unforced errors that we've talked about. But what about the pressure? What about the fact that you haven't been able to run the ball? What about the fact that your wide receivers are not separating very well? Like, there's a lot of offensive factors that contribute to your quarterback being under duress and putting the ball in harm's way. And there's a lot of defensive factors. The fact that your pass rush hasn't exactly gotten home a lot of the time. You haven't made opposing quarterbacks super uncomfortable. You haven't been able to stop the run to the perimeter. You haven't tackled well on throws behind the line of scrimmage and opportunities to put teams behind the sticks. You've gotten penalized more frequently than your opponent and put them in ideal situations. A penalty cost you 7 points on Sunday's loss to the Packers. So there are things that you are doing on both sides of the ball that are resulting in your turnover margin being the worst in the NFL as we currently sit here and I tape this. And for me, the most fixable, or I guess the most important thing to fix, is in regards to the Titans' offensive line, because it was ugly. And a quarterback, Will Levis, who was the most pressured quarterback in the league through 2 weeks, was sacked 8 times on Sunday afternoon. Titans left guard, Peter Skoronski, one of the guys I spoke to after the game in the Titans locker room, and he said, hey, we deserve absolutely everything coming our way.
It's a good way to describe it. It's like a waterfall. It starts with our group not being efficient and not going 3 and out, giving them the ball back, giving them chances to score, and that starts with the run game and not being efficient there, and then getting behind the sticks and getting in those third and long, those pass down situations. And then when we get in those situations, we still got to block. You can't just say, oh, well, these situations suck. We deserve every bit of shit that's coming towards us, and there'll be a lot of it. And we're not going to point fingers around anywhere. It's this 5, and we've got to be better. And that's that. 8 sacks is never, ever, ever excusable in any sense of the word. So we're going to be better.
Fire alarm going off in Nissan Stadium as, things are burning to the ground in Nashville. But Peter Skoronski says it right there, right? The offense is not efficient enough. The offensive line is not efficient enough. They weren't able to establish the run. They weren't able to get in good situations. They got penalized. They got behind the sticks. So then it's a passing situation. The Packers defensive line, which we talked about earlier last week, pinning their ears back, coming after Will Levis. And even though you knew the Packers were kind of bringing pressure, the Titans not winning their one-on-one matchups put their quarterback in harm's way. 8 sacks, as he says, never, never, never acceptable or excusable. And for me, that is where things have to start. If you are the Tennessee Titans looking to come back and play up to your potential, it has to start with the offensive line. You have to be able to protect Will Levis. When we saw the Titans protect Will Levis on the first drive of that game on Sunday, they went down the field and they scored. Like, they moved the ball very well. It was the negative plays and the sacks and the lack of success in the run game that really turned the tides for Tennessee. And the Titans are going to make efforts in doing that. And one of them is potentially by benching one of their starting offensive linemen and having an open competition. I'll tell you what Brian Callahan had to say about that. But before I do it, a reminder to all of you that Titans at 2 today is brought to you by Lipscomb Sports Analytics Department, where data meets the game, where you can analyze, strategize, revolutionize, and turn passion into profession by going beyond the box score. Lipscomb provides game-changing insights and offers you career-defining skills so you can get off the sidelines and into the action with Lipscomb's Sport Analytics program. You'll learn to make the calls that count. Their analytics program is turning sports fans into data-driven decision makers in the exciting world of professional athletics, because at Lipscomb, they're not just watching the game, they're changing how it's played. I am a Lipscomb graduate myself. Lipscomb made me prepared to dive into this big, wild world of sports. And so if you have a dream of working in sports or sports analytics, go ahead and check out Lipscomb. All right, let's get to it from Brian Callahan, because right tackle is a current position that is up for grabs between Nicholas Petit-Frere and Jalen Duncan. Maybe a battle of who sucks less.
Play better and still going to trust in him.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll let those guys play it out. I think that really at the core of the game yesterday, Nick played well enough, but his 3 real bad plays were real bad plays, and that's sort of what the issue is. It's the consistency, and we'll see. I'm not going to make any commentary on that until we get through a week of practice and see where everybody's at. But after that sack fumble, it was just we needed to make a change in the moment in the game, and I'm not going to say that it's a permanent one or anything like that, but we just needed something different.
That seems to be the story, right? You play well enough, but the big plays are the disastrous plays and, resulting in big sacks, turnovers for the Titans. Callahan did say he felt the left side of the Titans offensive line played pretty well. He gave credit to J.C. Latham for a second good performance in a row. Said Peter Skoronski was adequate. Lloyd Cushenberry was adequate, but really the right side of the offensive line, a big, big problem as the floodgates were opened. When you pulled Nicholas Petit-Frere after that sack fumble, it didn't get much better with Jalen Duncan. As a matter of fact, it probably got worse. So what are the Titans going to do at right tackle? Callahan says it's an open competition right now. They're going to wait and see how the week of practice unfolds. They're not ready to pull the plug on NPF, probably and mainly because, Jalen Duncan was not much better. So this is going to be interesting to see how they potentially reshuffle the deck because you have to fix this ASAP. I think a guy like Daniel Brunskill could be a factor as you look to see maybe he moves in at guard and you move Dylan Radins back out to tackle. Maybe you just plug Daniel Brunskill at right tackle. He has played tackle before in his career. I don't know what you do if you're Tennessee, but you have to find an answer because at 0-3, the season is very, very quickly slipping away, and you're putting your quarterback in harm's way, not really giving him a chance to protect himself or make plays. That may not be the only change coming for the Titans, but this one not necessarily by choice. Brian Callahan with an update on Monday afternoon says cornerback Chidobe Awuzie has a groin injury and will miss significant time.
Cheeto's got a groin. Probably miss him for some weeks at this point. Significant enough. What that timeline is remains to be seen, but I would expect him to miss some time. Jeff's got an elbow. Simmons has an elbow issue that's probably day to day. So we'll see what that looks like as the week goes. Thankfully, we have an extra day this week to get ready, and we're approaching our bye week already. So that's probably positive in that regard. But other than that, normal nicks and bruises from the game, and we'll see where we are when the Wednesday report comes out. But those are
sounded like Callahan honestly downplaying it a little bit with the situation with Awuzie because a follow-up from Titans media asked if injured reserve was a possibility for Cheeto, which he said absolutely a possibility. Which injured reserve would sideline Awuzie for at least 4 games. And with the bye week, a potential of 5 weeks that the Titans cornerback could miss. It's going to be cornerback Jarvis Brownlee stepping up and starting in Awuzie's place. And Trey Avery, a likely player to get brought up from the practice squad onto the 53-man roster and sort of work into the rotation. Darrell Baker, also somebody to watch. As a guy who could rotate onto the field as well. Jeffrey Simmons, an elbow, but as Brian Callahan says, day-to-day, and luckily for Tennessee, they've got an extra day to recover, going to Monday Night Football in Miami, desperately needing a victory. You cannot go to 0-4. If you go 0-4 into the bye week, I think all hell will break loose here. I mean, all hell kind of already has broken loose. But got to keep fighting, got to keep hope alive. If you can pick up a win in Miami, who knows what could flip at the bye. Linebacker Ernest Jones talked to the media about that, about times in his career where he has felt the tides change after the bye week and the team has been able to sort of get their feet under them. I think it's certainly a possibility for the Titans that have so much veteran talent, but you really have to keep yourself in the fight. So Miami is not going to be an easy game, even without Tua Tagovailoa playing there. Even if it is Tim Boyle at quarterback, or I guess maybe Snoop Huntley will be ready by then for Miami. You're going to have your hands full because of all the weapons that they have on the offensive side of the ball. We will see. We will see. It's certainly ugly. Keep hanging in there. And I will keep bringing you all of the updates you need about your team as we weather the storm of the Brian Callahan era. So till next time, tighten up. I will talk to you guys at A to Z Sports Primetime Tuesday night. See you later.